types of seekers. Let's talk about the first type of seeker. I've mentioned them kind of broadly, but now I would like to mention the three types of mystics in the beginning stages, the three types of mystical seekers more specifically. So you have the genuine seeker, not just the merely curious or the disdainful skeptic, but from a genuine stirring, anybody who's ever felt this need to merge with, unite with, or find love and to find that God is love. Anyone that has this calling to deeply connect with something outside of themselves. And if you don't know that that's something is God, you know there's a universe, a source, something, right? outside of you, outside of this world, and you get that stirring, right? That calling. So that's a genuine seeker, whether you're advanced in it or not, aside from the point. Okay? So the universe will respond to the genuine seeker, albeit in unusual ways. In New Age, you call that signs and synchronicities. Perhaps you receive your response through another mystic. Perhaps your teacher is a mystic. Perhaps if you don't know a teacher who's a true mystic, maybe you have an awareness that begins with an aha moment, a download during a time where you really needed it, or perhaps even during a time where you weren't even looking or seeking. An aha moment, perhaps during a reading, or perhaps during your study of some of the works of the great mystics, right? Perhaps you got that in Course of Love because Jesus was a great mystic. So if you're studying some of the books of the great mystics, East and West, and you are following along with their practices, you will receive a transmission or a download of their consciousness through that commitment. And it comes really rapidly in a way that you can't always make sense of, right? That's one way, that God reaches the genuine seeker in the beginning. Perhaps you got it through an initiation that is called Dark Night of the Soul. Perhaps you got an awareness through contemplation, like I did. I'm more of a contemplative mystic, right? So that's one type of beginning mystical seeker. The second type of beginning mystical seeker is the bored or the merely curious. So we call you this curious seeker. You satiate, you flood your mind. You're bored and you know that there's something more to life than what you currently see of this world and of yourself and of your life. And you're not going to stop looking. So you are what I call the curious, right? So the curious seeker will find that what shows up for him is a bit the opposite of the genuine seeker. You're not genuine until you actually get that aha moment, until you get something that's beyond you. It's just the way it goes. But you'll get the opposite of what the genuine seeker gets initially. So answers will show up perhaps in self-appointed gurus. Perhaps it shows up through keyboard warriors online in modern spiritual communities, and you get a moment when someone's catalyzing you. But it's a little bit more triggering is what I'm getting at for the bored or the merely curious seeker. You will have an initiation that captures your attention, that brings your ego on fire, that makes it want to be defensive of itself, right? So it shows up very opposite of the genuine seeker, right? Perhaps in some rather inconsistent ways, or strange symbols and signs, that's one of the ways that bored and the curious seekers receive some sort of crack of awareness through this matrix system of illusion. So answers will show up if you're ready, and when you're ready for a calling that will begin to stir deep in your soul. But this is the genuine seeker, and you're not there yet in the curious, and that's okay. But the bored seeker, the curious seeker, will hear or be told many things that confuse them. They'll be told mysticism is a philosophy. They'll be told it's an illusion. It's a theology. It stems from religion. They'll be told it is a psychological disease and that perhaps they're just schizophrenic or going nuts. You know, these are just stages, you know, for the mystic. For the curious, this is a part of that. Sometimes you just get that intellectual curiosity and you stay there for a long time because it's easier to look at things from a separate vantage point, or at least we believe it is during those moments. You'll be told that being a mystic means having visions, having your third eye open, or opening your spiritual gifts and abilities. You'll be told that it's from either a bodily sense or a sixth sense. You'll be told that mysticism is about being able to levitate or being able to astral travel or perform some other types of magical endeavors. You know, you'll be able to heal miraculously. You'll be told these kind of things. So both the curious and the skeptics will begin to believe that it means living this sheltered, ideal, dreamy, fluffy, magical life. You know, a life in which one shirks one's financial or familial responsibilities. You'll be told you need to go into an ashram for those. You'll be told if you do it, by the way, then you'll get judged and you'll be told that's selfish. You'll be told that being a mystic is about neglecting your health, renunciating sex or food or money, you know, or even water. Some people say you can be a breatharian. At the time, by the way, that's a bad idea for the bored and the curious, and even the genuine seeker can be a bad idea from abstaining from water for long terms. Our bodies, well, that is the temple. Okay. You'll be told it's about wallowing around in some vague spiritual emotion or staying in a samadhi and feeling good all the time, staying on the spiritual high. You'll be told so many things when you first start out and when you're bored and curious about life as a seeker, right? Going back to a true seeker, the genuine seeker, once you feel that stirring and calling in your heart, the true seeker will learn that mysticism is the opposite of all those things in foundation. The true seeker will learn that mysticism does indeed liberate her. And, you know, while I don't dare to reinvent the wheel in this class, nor solve this age-old problem by providing, you know, too many specific answers to the question, because the question in and of itself is worth asking until God itself gives you the answer. Until the awareness of the aware becomes simple awareness. That's the Eastern way. So that question, what is mysticism, can only be answered in an experience, not by me teaching you it. Right? But I can begin by explaining that the journey that you are endeavoring upon is beautiful, it is worthwhile, it is sacred, it is life-changing, and it is an answer that you can only find yourself. However, for today's class, we're going to give a broad definition from one of my favorite current mystics, currently one of my favorite mystics, rather. She was kind of 14th, 15th century, 16th century, Evelyn Underhill. And she wrote about mysticism, that mysticism is the art of union with reality. Simple as that, the art of union with reality. And notice that in her definition, that R is capitalized. Which doesn't mean your world or your circumstances or what you think is reality in the matrix illusory system around you. Not your formative world, divine reality.